For the first time in my life, I was really, really afraid. Now, I'm a pretty confident, successful person, so what could make a person like me panic? Oh, just that my husband had an affair, and it ended in a really ugly divorce. And I lost everything I created in the international business we grew together over 30 years. Not only that, I had to find a new home for me, my dogs, and my horses before the settlement was decided. And wait for it, I was 62 years old. Never did I imagine that I'd be starting a new life at that age, and I know I'm not the only one. Maybe you've gone through something similar, or even worse. You lost your job after 20 years. Someone close to you died. You lost a pet. Your business failed. No one prepares you for things like this. Even if a friend has gone through it, you really don't know what it feels like. You know, we say, oh, I can imagine. And I've done that when someone tells me their story. But you really can't. And everyone suffers or deals with it differently. I felt out of control. I didn't know what to do or what I was going to do. The most debilitating feeling is that of being completely powerless and out of control. That first night was almost unbearable. I was so angry, but I didn't cry and I couldn't sleep. I felt emotionally and physically sick. My mind was racing out of control on all the horrible what-ifs. I even thought about ending it. I just wanted to crawl under the covers and never come out. But I had a fun outing with my team in the morning, and I didn't want them to know what had happened. This was not their problem, and I wondered if I could make it. But that little dose of reality of what needed to happen made me change. So here's what I did. Number one, I stopped my torrent of negative and fearful thoughts. How? I simply said to myself, how interesting. You see, when faced with a terrifying situation like this, what we want to do is panic or hide or immediately try to find the solution. But when consumed by emotions, we are in no shape to do that. First, you have to bring all that to a stop, and only then can you begin to think. I've used the saying, how interesting, in my coaching and mentoring for over 30 years, mainly to help someone who overreacts to their horse's behavior. But once you learn this, it's incredibly powerful in just about every situation. I even had someone tell me it helped them conquer their road rage. Saying how interesting immediately interrupts and neutralizes your emotions. It initiates a pause between situation and reaction, and it gives you the space to choose your thoughts. I love that you're listening to this with me. It's a powerful and life-changing story, full of lessons that I'm privileged to share with you. Even though I don't know your story, I know so many people, women and men, of all ages and stages in life who fall victim to their reactions. Haven't we all had that time when we think to ourselves, if only I'd done this or said that? Hindsight is always 20/20, but it's that gift of time that makes the difference, no matter how brief. So try it. The next time you find yourself wanting to react to a situation with fear, anger, or sadness, say this to yourself. How interesting that I should feel that way. Give yourself that pause for as long as you can so you can think instead of react. When my husband, after a long evening of talking, finally said to me, I don't think we can fix this, my life flashed before my eyes. I had a moment of disbelief, but then I managed to think, how interesting. I knew it was over. I was not going to put any more energy into trying to make it work, and I asked him to leave the house. I felt cold, but clear. It was the right thing for us to do, to split. Join me for part 2, and I'll tell you what I did next.